All right, my friends, welcome to episode Not a Very Good Band. This is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays Games, or there's Anthony, the dev at Summer
I
Speak.
got it. Amber is the color of my energy,
Oh my
actually.
god, I fucking hate that band so much. I don't know why. I really don't like 311 at all, but that's our episode.
uh,
Uh,
oh my
uh,
god, now you're just making me think Critical Role. Because there's a point in campaign 2 towards the end where Matt gives a description about something, and it's giving off an amber glow, and Sam just in the background is like, that's the color of my energy. Uh, and like,
awesome.
no one catches it, but it's just rolls right along, continuing. Oh, it was so good. But I caught it, and I laughed my ass off.
Very nice. I know there are people who love, I mean, technically they're a great band. I know people love 311, but there's not a single song that I like of theirs.
I don't think we heard it in Northern California as much. My wife was always talking about how it was pretty constant. She would hear it on like K-Rock and stuff down in L.A.
That song or that band?
That band, and then
yeah,
just
I feel like it's
constantly. It was
band.
very SoCal. Like you heard 311 all the time.
Yep.
Where I feel like outside of that, you would hear the popular singles at times, but it wasn't like on constant rotation.
Right. So I'm glad to bring that up in the podcast.
Yeah.
This week we have a gaming potpourri. There's a couple big things we'll talk about, and then we'll talk about what we're playing or what we are replaying in my case. But today, which is the 25th, we're recording a day late, there was the Halo campaign, like a kind of a deeper dive. It's like a 6-minute video that I've got going right now. And I'm sure that the internet's going to pick it apart for what it looks like, but man, I think it looks pretty good. The textures look nice. It looks like a really, kind of like that semi-open world Halo experience. I don't know what the fuck's happening with the story here. I'm sure something's happening. Like Cortana has gone crazy and they're looking for Cortana, and that's kind of what I've gotten out of the story. But Master Chief has basically a hookshot, grappling hook on his arm. It looks pretty badass. Pretty cool armor. I don't know. It looks good. I think it looks great. And there's a couple funny, like comedic moments in the trailer that I think I hope carry over to the campaign.
Yeah.
I hope it's not taking itself super seriously, but looks good. That's not till next year, I think, right?
Yeah, it will take itself super seriously.
Come on, give me some hope.
I mean, they've always had some little bits of humor here and there, usually like one-liners here and there, but it definitely, Halo takes its storytelling very seriously, even when it's completely dumb as rocks sometimes.
Yeah, I sort of wish it wouldn't, because I think it might make more sense. But then again, I don't know. I've only played through the games, and I've played through all of them once. So I guess I should play through them more to get what's going on. Other than I understand the Cortana Master Chief thing, and that's actually my favorite part of the story.
Yep.
The rest of the lore is like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've played the first 3. I never played the 343 stuff.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it ended at 3 with
right.
Bungie's. Like, that felt like a complete story, and I was like, okay, that's fine. It's not exactly where I wanted it to go in the end, or thought it was going to go, but it was enjoyable enough. I actually really, what I've read of the 343 stuff, and then I don't like where they took the Cortana storylines pieces. I don't like her being more of the villain and crazy.
Right. Yep.
Like, that was such a connection for those first 3 games. That it kind of feels wrong to me to do that.
Yeah, she's rampant AI, which I think, I don't know. It's the ability to introduce this other AI character is cool. Still voiced by the same voice actress.
Sure.
But I'm hoping the payoff at the end is good. I don't trust that it is going to be.
Yeah.
Because kind of those things that like are annoying and they take something away that you've gotten really used to is annoying, because you just kind of like that comfort of that character or whatever. But if the payoff of them coming back is worth it, then that's cool. But I don't have a ton of faith that's going to happen. So
yeah, it does look good though. I have the trailer up and everything, and it looks a lot nicer than it did before. I will say that.
Yes, and they showed the face of some brutes. Actually quite a few. So like daring the internet to take screenshots and fuck with them, I guess. But December 8th is the multiplayer campaign.
Yep.
You know,
the free to play piece.
Yeah, and that's cool because we'll
Yeah.
be able to jump in and kind of see what it looks like on the PC. Because that's maybe where I'm going to play it. Because I've only got the Xbox S, One S.
Yeah.
But yeah, campaign next year looks good though. Speaking of,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I was gonna segue away from
Okay.
Halo. Speaking of interesting campaigns, I'm surprised, but looks like Guardians of the Galaxy has a pretty good campaign, pretty good linear single player story.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that. I think the reviews are pretty right on that it's a little bit janky overall. It's kind of how the trailers look, but it has like the story has a lot of heart and kind of feels like the movie Guardians characters, but definitely takes its own path, which made me happy to know, and that they seem to have been able to keep their own good group dynamic going on, ensemble cast.
Yeah, I wonder if they're able to benefit from the fact that like Guardians, I think they've had 2 of their own movies.
Yes.
And then some stuff in the cinematic universe, of course, but as opposed to like the Avengers that people have just known forever.
Yeah.
And then the Marvel's Avengers it just felt odd. But without having as much time with these characters, maybe, I don't know, that's not in your head as much, maybe. Like the fact that they're different and different voices, and I think trying to hew the line between we're doing our own thing, but also here's some hints to that thing that
Yeah. That we can't avoid or escape. Like, those movies are known. We're going to get compared to them.
Yes.
So we got to figure out how to do it. Do our own thing, but give people kind of what they're expecting in some ways. Like, I watched about an hour of it streamed, and some characters come off, like, visually very different. Like, Gamora looks very different in the video game, which is good.
Right.
Like, they're not trying to make them look like the characters from the movie, but not. That Avengers game.
Yes.
It was too close.
Way too close. Yep.
They're similar but different enough where it's easier to separate in a lot of ways. I think Drax was the only one that was pretty close, but that's just kind of what his character looks like. There's not a lot. That's Dave Bautista's character.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the comics, he looked like the comics, and now the game looks like him, and they all look like each other, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Groot looks like a tree. I don't know.
Yep, basically. You can change the branches around a little bit, different type of tree, but it's...
Right. Oh, you guys, it's an oak. It's not a poplar. Like, it's a fucking tree.
It's a fucking tree.
And then the raccoon, whatever the fuck his name is, Raccoon or not?
Rocket
Raccoon.
Looks like a raccoon. Yep.
Sure does.
Not changing that too much. But the dialogue was pretty funny listening to it, and it gives
that came across to me to the writing is like not just bearable, but actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was humorous. It had conversation choices. I don't know if they do anything story wise or change anything, but it was pretty regular that you would get to choose like do A or say B or do A or B.
I heard that at the end of the game you get a choice of 3 colors.
Oh, okay.
This was not really on my radar just because I felt, I don't know, just with the Avengers, it's not the same studio, but it's Square, I think, right? Like overarching
it is still Square. Yep.
Yeah. So I thought this is not gonna be the thing, but man, after reading a lot of those reviews today and enjoying Guardians, I thought, oh, maybe this is one I'm going to check out this year. Certainly not now because work is crushing my soul, but when that's no longer the case,
yeah,
maybe.
It definitely was like, it's on the list of maybe. There's so many things, unfortunately.
Oh yeah,
but
Metroid still got to get through Metroid.
Yeah, I'm looking at like some of the reviews.
It's solid,
I mean, a lot of stuff that dislikes is like there's just some bugs and glitches that make it a little janky at times. Like, but the actual parts of like the gameplay and the writing and the general feel of it seem to be very positive. So, who made it? Eidos Montreal.
Right. Mm-hmm. Wasn't the last thing they did like a Deus Ex game?
Yeah, I'm pretty. Let's see. No, they did Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, that's right.
And then before that, they did Deus Ex: Mankind Divided and Human Revolution. They did the Thief update as well. Talking about games I should play, I have never played Mankind Divided. I know
But
I
you
got
played
some.
other Deus Ex games, right?
Yeah, I played the first one, its original sequel, which was not great. But that's amazing soundtrack. I love the soundtrack for whatever the second Deus Ex was back in the day. But I played Human Revolution when it came out in 2011, and I really enjoyed Human Revolution. But I think when Mankind Divided came out, it was pretty mixed review
Yes,
wise.
correct. Yep.
Like it was said, people felt like it wasn't finished, and like the story just stopped, and it was going to be continued in DLCs. But I think that's all came out now. I should check to see if it's a complete package, because I enjoyed the gameplay of Human Revolution in that thing really well. Yeah. But Montreal, they did that, the VR. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider, yeah, that was the last thing they did in 2018.
Yeah, Shadow, I forgot about that.
Which I think was reviewed decently well.
Yeah, I thought it was like between 7
mediocre. Mediocre, yeah. 7s and 8s.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe more 7s than 8s. I picked it up. I have so many games in my little CD wallet that I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
That's one of them. But I really, really enjoyed Rise of the Tomb Raider, so.
Yeah.
But it was a different studio. That was Crystal, who then went on to Avengers, so.
Yeah, that didn't work out well for them.
No, not at all. There's like no way they recoup that money on that thing, right? That license is probably pretty expensive.
Yeah, that's the problem. At this point, I can't see them having made money or it being particularly profitable. So,
Yep.
It's not. They should just let that go. But
what a waste of a license, man. And I know that's happened forever with Star Wars and shit, but yikes.
I mean, yeah. The thing is, I can point to a lot of good Star Wars games, though. That's the thing. And I guess I can point to a lot of good Marvel games as well. Over the years.
Games.
Yeah, it's just you're just like what happened here. But let's be honest, there's also plenty of like Star Wars, plenty of bad Star Wars games too.
What would be the best one played? Is that
Of
Jedi
Star
Fallen
Wars?
Order? Yeah.
I mean, if we're going historically through all of them,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, newest one, Jedi Fallen Order, like it got things right. But historically, probably KOTOR.
Oh yeah.
That or TIE Fighter back in the day, like mid 90s TIE Fighter space sim.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really good space sim, and just because it had a really good story to it as well.
Did you ever try Squadrons?
No, I have it for free though. Where did I get it for free?
PSN had it, so you probably got it from there.
Yeah, I probably
did. PS Plus. I mean,
it wasn't. It definitely had it there. No, I also. Oh no, that's not there. I thought it was free somewhere else as well. But yeah, I have it on PSN if I want to play.
Maybe Epic Games give it away or something.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't see it given away there. But either way, I should play it at some point. But I heard kind of mixed things about it overall. It did not last that long from coming out to people being like, it's fine.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah, I'm not really, into the fucking, I don't know, space dogfighting or whatever. Anyways, so that's not really my jam. I had enough of the Star Fox Zero.
There you go.
It'll last me forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So any other big things happened this week?
GTA remasters.
Shit, that's right. It's like a trilogy, right? They're doing San Andreas and 3 or whatever.
3, Vice City, and San Andreas.
All those
the classic ones that all came out within like 5 years, 4 years.
Yeah, was that? I'm trying to remember. Was that around the year 2001 when
Probably.
3 came out? Because I played the fuck out of that game when I did the study abroad in England. My roommate had a PS2.
PS2.
Yeah, PS2, and we played that game I can't remember a single thing about it, but we played it every night for probably 2 months.
Yeah, no, that was 2001. It came out October 22nd, 2001.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I played the shit out. I probably still have my disc sitting in storage out in my garage. And no, do I know the story? No, not a clue. I just ran around and blew shit up.
Yeah, that's what we did too. We just did fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
When is that coming out? I didn't even pay attention to the release or anything like that. Is it this year?
I believe so.
Because that'd be worth. I might pick that up just for the nostalgia blast of 3. God, that's been 20 years. Oh my God, I studied abroad in England 20 years ago. God,
Yeah.
I'm old.
20 years ago. That point, that was 2001. So I was going. That was our junior year.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been our third year of college. That's when my then girlfriend, now wife, was studying abroad in Japan.
That's when she was in Japan. Okay.
Yeah.
And you went and visited at some
Yep.
point.
Yeah. That would have been spring 2002 when I went and visited Japan, I think.
And then you dropped down to one knee in the middle of Shibuya to propose,
Exactly.
and you were whisked away to some palace dungeon.
Nope, not at all. But oh god, that was a while ago.
Yeah, we're middle aged now.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the sad middle aged podcast now.
Yeah. Trying to see when this thing comes out. The Trilogy Definitive Edition. Okay, said pre-order. Give me a date. 11/11/2021.
Okay, so it is. Oh, wait, shit! It's like in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty close from announced to release. That's kind of cool.
They got to do something. I feel bad, but it's true. Like, people have been giving Rockstar crap for so long of not making anything.
Right.
Other than 5.
We made a different GTA.
Pretty much. Honestly, like, that's the thing. I think I could have fun for a little bit in them, but I remember in all 3 games trying to play it more story-wise, I'd always get to a mission that I'm like, fuck this, I'm done. I'm not playing any more of this.
That sounds about right.
There's always some stupid mission that has horrible controls, something weird. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, either that or story-based, like something like you inhabit these characters and you're like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, they're horrible. Horrible characters.
Not super enticing.
Okay, what's going on here? This updated player experience, GTA 5 controller layouts. So updating the controls.
Okay, that makes sense. Modernizing that.
Modernizing the controls, modernizing the gunplay, and targeting. The original 3 gets enhanced and updated mini maps, waypoints, and just make it easier to play.
Yeah. QOL updates.
Platform-specific features. 4K resolution support up to 60 FPS on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. NVIDIA DLSS support for PC.
Nice.
Touch camera zooming, pans, and menu selection, as well as gyro aiming for the Nintendo Switch. It's coming to the Switch.
That's interesting. I know that would be the inferior experience, but
yes,
that is intriguing.
That's the way of the Switch, isn't it? You're always like, it's going to be the inferior experience, but it's also the Switch.
Yes, it's
carry
also
it around.
Yep. Like, that's got to be a better experience than I had in 2001, right? It's more powerful than the PS2, isn't it?
It is more powerful than a PS2.
So,
it's somewhere around a PS3. A little bit above a PS3.
Nice. Okay. Well, that is enticing.
So, yeah.
Well, I might look into that, actually. Although, I don't know. Not really a huge fan of GTA in general, but man, there's something about that game that I played a lot.
Yeah.
In that time that is kind of like enticing. So
yeah.
Speaking of replaying games, guess what I'm playing with my daughter?
Wind Waker? Or
no, that'd be cool.
Paper Mario?
No, that would also be cool if we'd finished that playthrough. We're fucking almost at the end of that. Why don't we just finish that? No. We're playing Kena, Bridge of Spirits again.
Okay.
We finished it last week. It was great. The ending was awesome from start to finish. That was just a solid B+ experience. And that might even be a little low, maybe A-. It just never let up in terms of quality and engagement. And my daughter's just infatuated. So we finished in the morning. It was like last Wednesday or whatever. And then that night I was putting together her new bunk bed. And as I was doing that, she wanted to air quote help me. And what that ended up doing was just dropping a bunch of boards on her head and her feet. And I was like, all right, we need to get you somewhere where you're not, getting hurt here. Because this is a 2-person job that I'm doing by myself, and I don't want you to get hurt. So I said, you can watch something on the iPad for an hour while I'm doing this. Ended up being 2 hours, but whatever. She's like, I want to watch Kina. I'm like, you want to watch Kina, the game we just finished this morning? She's like, yes, I want to see the story. So we did all this, someone had put together the 3 different stories. So she watched all 3 stories for the different spirits. And now that she's played the game, she has a schema for like what the plot is and who the characters are. So it just like seeded it better in her head. And she was just like so excited and talking about all the characters she saw, her favorite Rusu character and whatever else. And then the next 2 mornings later, it's my morning. We, play something together. And I'm like, what, I download like several different options of different games that are in her, the rating area that I want to play with her. And she's like, I want to play Kina. I'm like, okay, I understand that. But let's play a different game first, and then we'll come back to Kina after this game. Let's look at these games. She's like, okay. So we looked at Never Alone, which is like that little girl with the like the Arctic wolf or whatever. We looked at Tearaway. We looked at a couple other games I can't remember. We looked at Peggle 2. I thought that might be fun for her because she could just control it. And she's like, okay, these all look good, Daddy. Thanks. I want to play Kina. Okay. So we went back to Kina, and I was like, okay, we'll just go around and collect all the, basically like mop up trophies and kind of stuff. And she's like, no, I want to do the story. Oh, you want to play it over again? She's like, yep. Okay. So we just started Kina over again. And she's just infatuated with it. And it's just like so excited and, just telling her mom and telling me later just like all the stuff that she saw in the story and retelling the story and like, oh, I know who that is because he does this later in the story, blah, 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 blah. And it's like so cool for her language development and all that kind of stuff. And I gotta say, playing it like the second, like immediately restarting the game is not, it's not bad. It's actually still pretty fun. So I don't know. There you go.
Okay.
Kina, we're playing it again. And I bet you when we finish this run, we might play it again.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a a female protagonist, which is cool. There's combat, but it's I don't know. I'm feeling okay with like stick combat or bow combat.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
There's no like swords. There's no blood. Obviously, it's E10 game. But there's something about the way that it's structured into 3 shorter stories. It's like a compendium of 3 stories that are related, and there's a couple of scary things. She kind of like jumps on my lap and kind of curls toward me while we play. But she just likes to take the controller and run around and then swim. She wants to give Kina a bath. So she jumps in the water and just swims around everywhere. And she's getting, my wife came down yesterday. What is today? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. And was watching my daughter control Kina. And she was like, she's better than I am with that controller. I was like, yeah, she is.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're exactly right. She was like, it was crazy because there was a spot where you like slid down a hill, turned around, double jumped up to grab a ledge, and then held left to sidle with your, what the fuck it's called, with your hands, hand over hand to go, kind of like Uncharted style. And then you had to hold left on the stick and jump to leap to the next ledge and then go over and then press circle to drop. And she did it all. And my wife was just like, what the hell? I'm like, oh, she's getting better. And yeah, super, super fun. This is the only time in my life right now that I get to play video games. So I would like to play a different game, but it's still great. So there's my game.
That's your game.
Yeah, there's my game for the last month and probably for the next month.
Yeah.
But that's all I've been playing.
What have I been playing? I mean, Genshin still. They have new events. It's like a random, honestly, kind of a roguelike kind of dungeon crawler thing. These quick, you just go through a randomly spawned like series of rooms with different challenges or special events that can happen, and each time you want to fight, you get to pick one of 3 kind of perks to take through as you go. So it's just them doing a little roguelike thing to get rewards. It has a bunch of story around it, but it's enjoyable. And this is just like a one-off kind of event that's going to go away in a week or 2. Like, sure, why not? We'll just put all this huge giant thing in here, and then it's gone.
Cool.
So it's weird. Like, again, I get it. It from a mobile game standpoint. If you view it from that standpoint as a high quality PC game that also is a mobile game. You're like, yeah, this is about right for a mobile game. They'll do these events and then they'll go away, and maybe they'll be back, maybe they won't. But
Right.
yeah, it's been fun because it's also learning to treat it now like, okay, I finished a bunch of the story. Is like you kind of can I can come back like daily to it and spend like a half an hour at it and get a lot of just general progress at something done. But then most of this event stuff is actually time gated. So it's like, all right, the next time I get new dungeons is actually in 2 days. So I did it today at lunch. I just played
Mm-hmm.
and did my thing. And now I don't really have to check in with the game for a couple days. It's fine. So it definitely has a cadence to it. I think that also might has to do, they're more aggressive with it now, probably from what I've heard in the past years because of crackdowns in China on game playing and kids, and
Oh yeah, right.
like
Mm-hmm.
they're clearly changing the design of their game a bit to fit into those time pressures that are being enforced by the government in China.
Right. Play for an hour and that's all I can do, kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of stuff like that, where they have to be pretty careful. And that, I think that's probably going to change a lot of, I would say, living and ongoing games, not just Chinese games and mobile games, but any
The ones who want to succeed there, you know.
Yeah, if you want to succeed, you're going to have to figure out how not to get stomped by the government there. Yeah, so, but that's been fun. It's been cool. Continuing that, what else came out? I played a little bit more Dread. I have the Morph Ball and the Various Suit.
Nice.
So I think I'm coming up on another boss, and it's probably going to kick my ass because I don't know what it is, but I have seen little things on my Twitter feed after the game came out that people got these and then just got stomped by a boss. So I'm getting myself prepared that I'm just going to get stomped. Enjoying it still. Just need to get through that. And then Path of Exile had their new league launch. So I pick that up and check out what's going on there. And again, they do a huge revamp to their core systems. Like, they redid all their defense. They did last time, and they're continuing this. Because they said last time was part one of a continuous thing that they're doing to, like, revamp some of the core aspects of the game. And this one was like, we're going to redo how defenses work in the game. Just straight up. How armor works, how evasion works. And so they, like, removed some stats, changed some stats, added a couple new ones. They basically, like, made the different types of defenses just work in different ways, but all be pretty effective. So that made it easier. And then their big giant skill tree, they completely redid it.
That weird galaxy map thing?
Yeah, they completely changed. And this is actually a place where, as a designer, I look at it, I'm like, this is incredibly smart. Because it's still this big chain that you're going through, but they removed a bunch of nodes that made it, what do I say, more trivial nodes, or like feeling like people always had to go for different sides of the tree to get these nodes. But was also limiting them on like where they could put new things or move things around.
You're right.
So that each classes could have the same rough stuff as from where they start. So they removed a bunch, and then added these, basically as you go through the tree, these clusters. So you go down a path, and you can go into these cluster areas and spend a couple points, and they get something called a notable in there, which is like a bigger, it's like a bigger little icon. But usually the notables like do bigger drastic things, like give you bigger abilities or bigger passive effects that are going on. But you select those, then it actually changes that cluster to have an icon in the center, and you can spend a point to select one of like 6 masteries in that node. And those masteries are shared by all clusters of that certain type throughout the tree. So they can add, so now when they want to add new abilities, they can add new masteries and worry less about where they're going to put that on the tree. Like, so they can actually just drastically change how the game plays by changing these masteries each league, without fucking up the tree and
that's cool.
worrying about it's incredibly nice from a design standpoint. It's still complex, but this is also the first time where I'm like, I think I could, if I spend enough time, I could make a successful build now. Like if I was just studying the tree, I could probably figure out something effective.
You mean without other resources, just looking at
Yeah.
it itself? That's
Yep.
cool.
Like
Yeah,
just
'cause
bringing up a tree on like a web page that has the tree and then just start spinning points. I
Right.
bet I could make. I feel like I could confidently make something now, a build that could at least get me through the game.
Right.
Because they've removed a bunch of the complexity, but still kept exciting abilities in there. So I don't know. It was that was a great change. I appreciated that one quite a bit. I don't know how much I'll play. I've got a bunch of work to do. And then what did I do? I owned the other one of the nights this past week. I got HBO Max and watched Dune.
Oh yeah, I've heard people saying some good things about it.
I loved it. I loved it so much. And I'm not a person who's like, oh, this book has been the greatest book I've ever read.
Right.
I mean, I didn't read the book until 2010-ish. It was like right around when my son was born. I finally was like, fine, I need to read this book. Everyone talks about it as being like a seminal work of science fiction.
Right.
Why haven't I read it? And I read it and I finished it. I'm like, I get why people like this book so much. Like, I can see why this is so important to the science fiction genre as a whole, and how much spins out of this one book and is borrowed and reused everywhere. And it was, I guess, got absorbed in the book when I first read it, and kind of watching the movie, I guess got completely absorbed into the world again.
Does it condense the book in a way that is accessible, or does it try to like I don't know, portray everything?
No, it does not try to portray everything. And it's only part one.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
It's half the book. Okay. It even opens. It's like Dune Part 1 under the title.
Okay.
They haven't greenlit Part 2 yet, although it's done very well at the box office, and I'm pretty sure it's done well on HBO, getting people to get HBO Max. So I have a feeling that they'll greenlight the sequel here soon, which will be the second half of the book. So it's 2.5 hours condensing the first half of the book. But the thing is, I would not call this movie like really huge on lore dumps.
Good.
Like the lore as you're learning the world is just kind of very cleverly thrown into dialogue or background stuff that's happening. So they don't just sit there and just be like, these two characters are going to talk about this crazy like political thing back and forth for like 5 minutes that just so you understand what's going on. It's like, no, none of that. And I think maybe that's to its detriment to some people, because I know some people are like, it skips over so much of the book, and
good.
Like, it doesn't skip over a ton of the book. It has all the key scenes that you need to understand the core story. It skips over all the stuff talking about what the like economy of the Imperium is, and what the Spacing Guild does, and navigate like stuff that, well, cool to know for a world standpoint and a lore standpoint, has nothing to do with the family story that's actually going on here. And it's actually one of the few stories I can really look at science fiction as a whole, and maybe some fantasy, where it is a mother-son story, like centered story.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's what it is, and that's not common. And so they really center the movie on that story, and then of course the Duke and his the father-son relationship there, and the Atreides family, like what's going on with them in that core group. And they do it really well. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. We have a thread in Slack at Systemera that is now talking about the movie that has I think 226 replies.
Oh, nice. All right.
We've just been talking like crazy about it, and pretty much universally everyone here at the company has been like, yeah, this was great. And for the people, there's been a number of people in that thread that have like, we've never read the book, and they watch the movie and they're like, this is amazing. I love it. So
there's something special about that book, for a lot of reasons, but always, as you mentioned, the seminal work of science fiction, those types of works, like, I don't know, Blue Mars, or anything by Vonnegut, trying to think of other things, Strange in a Strange Land, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just never really got into them. Like I tried to read them. I did read them, in fact, and I don't know, I wasn't super engaged, partially because of sci-fi or whatever. But for some reason, Dune captured me. I'm not sure why. So that speaks well of the work from my perspective in terms of it being able to hold my attention. But everyone that I've talked to about Dune has said how great it is. So I need to make some time.
Yeah, I think you, just from a storytelling standpoint and visually, it's stunning.
That's cool.
Denis Villeneuve knows how to construct a sci-fi epic. He is the guy who did Arrival.
Oh God, fucking great movie.
Yeah, he directed Arrival. He did Blade Runner 2049 before this.
He basically makes movies out of great literature.
Kind of, yeah, in a lot of ways, and like movies that people say that can never happen. I've watched interviews with him with Dune. He read Dune when he was 14, and it's like one of his favorite books of all time. And he's always wanted to film it as a movie, but never felt until recently in his career that he was at the level where he could do it. And
it's like wrapping back to video games with Metroid Dread, where they had wanted to do that for like 2 decades, and we're like, we don't have the technology to do what our vision is. And now we do, and that's cool. Like for something to be made by someone who really, really loves and understands the source material, you could either go in one direction where it's just like info dump everything, or like a smart, representation of this in a new medium to people who don't know the book, who can get into it. And seems like it's gone in the latter direction.
I think it has, and I think it's going to sell a lot of books. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw his son.
Brian Herbert?
Yeah, I forgot what book it was. He's obviously writing books in the universe. But I saw him reading out of his latest one at the time, which was like 4 or 5 years ago. I went with my friend. I was not super interested, but whatever. It was still cool to be there and have someone read things they've written.
Yeah, that has come up too in the thread, because the people who saw it they were like, okay, I'm interested. I'm going to read the book now. Like, there's a lot of books. I'm going to start with Dune. What should I read? And we all unanimously, all of us who've read it, were like, read Dune. When you finish Dune, how do you feel about Dune? What do you care about? Do you just want more Atreides family stuff? Okay, read Dune. And really, are you really attached to Paul and the Atreides stuff? Like, really attached. Okay, read Dune Messiah and Children of Dune. Okay, do you really like the politics and the lore of the universe and the houses? Okay, continue more, but it's gonna get super weird. That's how it's always explained to me. I read through Children of Dune. I've read the first 3, and that was like, cool, I'm done. That feels like all I need. And there's like 30 other novels between Frank Herbert. He actually wrote 6 total novels to begin with, and his son has with Kevin J. Anderson, I think, is the other author.
Yes, thank you.
Like they work together.
Yep.
And they've written, a couple dozen, 2 dozen different things that based on notes, filling in lore of the world, prequel stuff. I think a couple sequels based on notes that his father had left. But I've never wanted to touch that stuff, and anytime I even looked at it, and it felt like a quality bar below those original books. So,
oh yeah.
And I will say, Dune Messiah, very rapidly you'll play the sequel to Dune, you'll read that, and it's like, oh, this is going to get super philosophical, and it does.
Is it like the jump from Ender's Game to Speaker for the Dead?
Kind of. I would say that there might be some inspiration that Card took there. And because Dune Messiah, like it's not as big of a jump, but it deals with some pretty big philosophy issues there. Paul's a pretty crazy character at that point, so he's seeing through time, doing crazy things.
As you do, yeah.
As you do, he's got some big problems to deal with, and big civilization making ideas and philosophies on, like gods and things. So, not that Frank Herbert stayed away from talking about religion in his books. So,
right,
and incorporating that stuff. So, I do recommend the movie though, and hopefully it gets its sequel, so we'll at least get the full first book done. I think Villeneuve has said that he would do a third movie that basically combines Dune Messiah and Children of Dune into like
nice.
one kind of follow up. If that would be where he would stop, though.
Right. No, Brian Herbert's like, no, keep going.
Go on, keep making them.
Option my books.
We need the Dune cinematic universe.
Yeah, God, that has been pitched.
I mean, this is Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers probably wants it.
Yeah, I'm sure. They can't even do the DC cinematic universe, though.
Yeah.
The DCU, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Well, thanks for tuning into our Dune podcast, our Dune cast. Hopefully I'll check it out. I don't actually have my HBO. Maybe I'll be one of those people who get it.
I subscribed for a month just so I could watch it because I'm not going to a movie theater. Even though I finished watching, I was like, God, I wish I could go watch this in IMAX.
Yeah,
but I'm not stepping foot in a movie theater until my kids are vaccinated. So
yep,
that will be a while. So
I just went to pick up pizza today, and there was like 200 fucking people in the round table. I was like, am I?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Whatever. It's fine. I will sit and wait. Hey, someone at work that really loved Dune was like, I don't know if they did it, but they were looking at just buying out an entire screening.
Oh my God.
Just so they
great idea.
Just so they could just sit in the theater all alone and watch it.
Yep. You know what? I bought every seat in the theater. If anyone comes in here, I'm going to lose my shit.
Kind of.
This is mine and mine alone.
I paid like $600 for this. Go away.
God, it'd be way more than that, wouldn't it?
It depends
How many seats
on
are in
the
those
theater.
things?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think they were talking about getting an IMAX, but
yeah, right.
But either way, I'm like, that is some pretty big dedication.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, I'm going to see this on a movie theater. I'm going to buy every seat to do it.
That's pretty cool.
I do know that the big theater in Seattle that PopCap used to go see stuff at, the Cinerama, I think it was like $3,000 to rent out the theater.
Yeah, if you got a ton of money, that's not bad for an experience that you really want to have. I wouldn't.
No,
I mean, I wouldn't do it at all. But that's not something you do every week. But
I don't know if I'd ever do it. But it'd have to be something.
If I had
really big.
like $1 billion fucking dollars,
that's true.
I would rent it out.
You wouldn't even notice that.
You would not notice that exactly.
You'd be like, "That's just a Friday night, right?"
You rent out for 10 of your friends. Like, we're gonna go watch whatever. That sounds amazing.
Let's go play games on that giant IMAX screen.
You know what? That is a better idea. All right. Well, that was episode. God damn it.
Do it.
311. That was episode 311 of Prof and Dev Play Games. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, congratulations. You're amazing. We'll see you next week when we have something to talk about, I'm sure. We're getting into the meat. I guess there's a Sony State of Play coming up pretty soon, actually. So
I heard that this week, potentially.
Yeah, they announced it last week, so it must be this week. So we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the goal. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Later, everyone.